Now at 6, reactions from Knoll, Missouri to the pending closure of the Tyson plant there. Plus, a Carthage man here says sentenced for a fatal 2021 crash. And the future of security is now for schools in Wyandotte, Oklahoma.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Town officials in Knoll, Missouri are speaking out after Tyson Foods announces the closure of its processing plant. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. The news of that pending closure is sinking in, and we're getting more reaction now from some community leaders. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has the story.
Similar to many people in the town of Knoll, the news that its biggest job provider would be shutting its doors came as a surprise to the town mayor.
Somewhere around 7 o'clock in the morning, I got a call from James Wood. He's the governmental compliance officer for the plant here in town. He wanted to let me know before it actually became public that their last day of operation is supposed to be October 20th of this year.
For Mayor Terry Lance, this situation is new territory and something he has sought help handling.
I've never been through this before, wasn't sure what direction to go, so I reached out to the Missouri Municipal League and Harry S. Truman Coordinating Council after it became public to let them know that we have a plant that's going to be empty and that I'd like some help in finding a business to move in.
The plant is home to nearly 1,500 employees, most of which will be without a job come the end of October. However, there is some hope for those who may want to continue working for Tyson.
He told me that anyone employed there, assuming that they have openings, will have the opportunity to transfer to different facilities if they choose to do so, which I was glad to hear.
However, the issue with transferring is that the next closest Tyson facility is an hour away.
Especially with fuel prices, I don't think many people are going to want to commute quite that far. It ends up costing you too much to work there.
Right.
So I see a lot of people either looking for a different line of work or unfortunately moving out of town.
The town marshal, Randy Wilson, agrees with the mayor that this will be a hard blow on the town, but has a word of encouragement for the people he serves.
What we are here to do, and like I've told people, as a community, it's time to stand together. It's time to work together through these hard times.
So while there still may be some questions that remain unanswered, the best hope for this community is to rely on each other. Reporting in Knoll, I'm Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
The mayor is working on a plan to provide assistance to community members when the time comes. Part of that will be looking for a way to start a food bank, as well as putting on a job fair. Some voters in Missouri are going to the polls today. Most of the ballot items are tax levy questions. There are also some general sales taxes and marijuana sales tax proposals. If you haven't voted yet, well, there is still a little bit of time. The polls close at 7 this evening, and we're going to have the results for you from today's elections on KOAM News at 9 and 10. The weather not bad out there. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
No, it actually turned out to be another great day for us today. Temperatures, they made it into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Humidity, not too bad. So another nice day on Tap Press. 90 in Fort Scott, 88 at Grand Lake. Carthage is sitting at 87, 86 in Neosho. Chanute checking in at 89. We're dry, but we are tracking some thunderstorms complex out across parts of Nebraska, eastern Colorado, and eventually these are going to turn and head toward us late tonight. But if you want to get outside this evening, it looks great. Slide back through the 80s, 70s. We bottom out near 70 degrees. And as we go through time, you can see our temperatures backing down. But late tonight, after 2 or 3 o'clock, look at these storms exploding. Here's 4 a.m., showers and thunderstorms, some of these strong, moving into the area, and periods of storms as we go into your Wednesday. We're going to break all that down here in just a bit.
Catching a few. A Carthage man learns his fate for a fatal crash that happened just over 2 years ago. Kenton Cowgill gets a life sentence for, among other things, second-degree murder. Authorities say in July of 2021, Cowgill was passed out in his car, blocking a driveway. Joplin police say when they woke him, he sped away, leading them on a chase. That chase ended in a crash involving 2 other vehicles at the intersection of 7th and Duquesne Road. Police say Cowgill tried to flee from the crash scene and get rid of 94 grams of meth. The driver of one of the other vehicles, 66-year-old Robert McDermott of Joplin, later died from injuries suffered in that crash. In addition to the life sentence, Cowgill also receives 15 years for DWI death of another, 7 years for resisting arrest, and another 15 years for trafficking drugs. A new partnership will bring new healthcare opportunities to PSU. Pitt State students, faculty, and staff will now have expanded access to medical care, pharmacy, and mental health services on campus and in the region, thanks to a new partnership with Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas. Benefits for students will be similar at all CHC-SEK locations, with student health fees helping to offset any copays or deductibles. They can also receive care at any of CHC-SEK's 15 locations across the region, including 2 in Pittsburgh.
So some of the things that they identified is nutrition support, dental support that they wish we had more of or available to them, pharmacy, different pharmaceutical supports, and many of our students indicated already a connection to CHC.
The clinic will extend hours from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday during the fall and spring semesters, and from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. weekdays in the summer. Look at this, not exactly RoboCop, but it's kind of on its way. Schools in Wyandotte, Oklahoma today introduced this new line of robotic security. Joplin-based Stokes Robotics today donated several robots to help in the event of an intruder situation. The robots will not patrol the schools, but they are going to be deployed if needed. That's the only case they would be deployed. Wyandotte police and school staff are going to be trained to use these things. Officials say this is a first of its kind school security system in the nation.
There's someone in the building, you could actually use the robot to confront that person, maybe slow them down, give you extra time. It's just a process. We're the first ones, so we don't know exactly what all we can do. We're learning as we go, but it's an exciting opportunity.
Yeah, I would think so. Wyandotte schools were chosen for the donation because Stokes Robotics president, Robert Stokes, he's a Wyandotte High School alumnus. Students will also be able to study the robots to learn about robotics. Coming up, severe weather in the Sunflower State topples a tree onto the house of a 93-year-old woman. Plus, multiple Kansas City Chiefs players make the list of top 100 players. Can you guess who they are? The cleanup continues even now from the weekend storms in parts of south central Kansas. The National Weather Service reports winds of around 70 miles per hour pushed through the city early Saturday morning in Wellington. For one Wellington homeowner, left her with a big surprise and a big mess. Sean Logan reports.
I know where I'm going to call.
Orlean Urban is feeling blessed.
Today, I have a song going through my mind. Be not dismayed, whatever betide, God will take care of you. He did.
It's quieter now than the chaos that ensued early Saturday morning.
I hadn't heard the storm until my phone notified me.
That notification got Orlean up, and as she sat there for a minute,
then I heard just the loudest crash I've ever heard, and something hit me on the head, just a small something, wasn't anything that hurt or cut. Then I heard a plop on the floor, and it was so frightening.
The pin oak that stood proudly in the backyard of her home the last 30 years came crashing down, landing over her bedroom.
It came through. I can see the sky from my bed.
Orlean had plenty of help over the weekend to get this tree off of her house. Family, friends, and her church community stopping by with chainsaws and helping hands to help clear away the mess.
Such a feeling of support. Had so many people from the church come.
Next comes fixing up the damage and clearing out the debris. But for now,
it makes you appreciate life.
Orlean is giving thanks
when something like this happens, and
to God and all who helped.
But I'm ready to get back to the regular routine and not be able to see the sky from my bed.
Orlean is thankful to all the people who came to help, as you might imagine. A little bit later, Joplin High School gets ready to kick off its football season.
Plus, we're going to kick off some more thunderstorms later on tonight. Those details coming up. Well, it turned out to be another great day for us today. Temperature is a little bit warmer, upper 80s to near 90 degrees, but the humidity fairly low and plenty of sunshine across the region. We're going to have pretty much clear skies for the next several hours. Then we get some changes moving in here later on tonight. Nice shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, a great tower cam just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Look at our temps. Still upper 80s to near 90, 88 in Nevada, 86 in Miami. Pittsburgh sitting at 87 degrees. Looks great. 7th in Rangeline, 87. Dew point at 63, so we don't have much of a heat index, which is always nice in the month of August. Through the evening, if you want to get out, slide back through the 80s, 70s, near 70 degrees. But thunderstorm chances move in later on tonight. Now, the next few hours look fine, as you can see. Not too much going on, but we are tracking these guys. Thunderstorms, parts of Nebraska, western Nebraska, down through Colorado. So a long ways away, but they're going to get here late tonight and into the morning hours for us tomorrow as we keep getting these weak little waves kind of rotating around this area of high pressure, but at least it gives us chances for showers and thunderstorms, and we'll take it. All right, next several hours, rain chances non-existent. Look how they pop up here. 4 a.m., 6 a.m., 8 a.m. Dip off a little bit by the noon hour, increase again late in the day. So let's step through time. Let's go through the next 48 hours. Clouds slowly increase. We're going to stop at 3:30 in the morning. Showers, thunderstorms starting to pick up Oklahoma into southeastern Kansas. Watch the explosion of these. Here's 5 a.m. Some of these storms could be strong, maybe even low-grade severe. If we had anything severe, we're talking about strong winds, 60, 70 miles per hour. As we continue through the morning hours, showers, thunderstorms continuing to push through. Then we get a back batch that rolls through. Here's 10 a.m. and then by the noon hour, heaviest storms are off toward the east. But here's where it gets interesting. We have a cold front slides in during the afternoon. And as it passes through, we're going to start to get scattered thunderstorms along the I-44 corridor. Most of these are going to be to our southeast, but the ones that do pop up will have the chance to go severe very quickly. So we need to watch that as well as we go into the late afternoon, evening hours. All right, Thursday morning we start comfortable into the mid-60s. Thursday afternoon looks pretty good. High temps into the upper 80s during the afternoon. All right, severe weather chances again. A level 2 out of 5 across the region, kind of 2 times during the day. 3 a.m. to 9 a.m., 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Main threats here, heavy rain and high wind. So we're going to keep our eyes on that. Also rainfall, we could use whatever rain we can get. It's going to be fairly widespread. I think most of us quarter, half an inch. Maybe some areas, especially in northern counties, could pick up 3/4 of an inch of rain, which would be nice. 73 to start, 78 by noon, high temp. 88 for you tomorrow afternoon, 89 on Thursday. We bounce back to 94 Friday, 95 Saturday. Hit and miss storms as we head into the weekend, and then eventually back near 100 by the middle of next week. But we could really use widespread rain tonight, and we have a pretty good chance to get it.
I'm all for that. And highs in the 80s for at least a couple of days.
Yeah,
that sounds
not
pretty
bad.
good too. Thanks, Jack. If you've ever wanted to be on TV, and why wouldn't you? Well, you might get your chance. A TV food series for a local restaurant showcase in Joplin is looking to cast audience members. The casting call is for adults 18 and older. Anyone interested can send email to priscilla@citizenpictures.com with the subject line Joplin audience member to receive more information, and good luck to you. Yeah, you might get to be on TV. Still ahead, a Missouri Southern alum signs an NFL contract after being out of the sport for 3 years. And Pitt State women's basketball wraps up its trip in Spain. John Dales has those stories and more coming up.
We're just under a month away from the first regular season NFL game, and a name you might remember is a little bit closer to finding himself on a 53-man roster. LaColby Tucker, who is part of Missouri Southern's football team in the COVID-shortened 2020 season, has signed with the Atlanta Falcons, the team announces on Monday. The offensive lineman transferred To MSSU from Garden City Community College in 2020. You might remember the Lions only played one game in March of that season. Tucker actually hasn't played any organized pro football since that point, outside of participating in the XFL Combine this summer. Elsewhere in the NFL, the top 100 rankings, as voted on by the players, are finished up. Not much of a surprise who comes in at number one. That's two-time league MVP, two-time Super Bowl MVP, Chiefs starting quarterback Patrick Mahomes. It's actually the second time he's finished with the number one ranking in the league's annual top 100 list. Both of them have come after a trip to the Super Bowl in the preceding season. And it's been a heck of a year for the Chiefs signal caller. Not only does he finish number one on this list, he also gets featured in the Netflix quarterback documentary, wins a couple of ESPY awards for Best Male Athlete and Best NFL Player, and of course, was Super Bowl 57 MVP. Now, Mahomes not the only Chiefs player to finish high on this list. In fact, Kansas City with 3 players in the top 10, and they're the only team in the league to have more than one top 10 player. Defensive tackle Chris Jones finishes 10th after a career-high 15.5 sacks in 2022. Travis Kelce, one of the best to ever play tight end, in at the 5 spot after breaking the position record last year for the most games with 100 receiving yards. Meanwhile, Pitt State women's basketball closing up shop on its trip to Spain. The Gorillas finished 2-1 in the exhibitions played against international competition. Gorillas went 2-0 in Madrid before dropping their final game in Barcelona on Monday. Both the Pitt State coaches and players say this trip was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it hurts to end on a loss, but facing top-level competition in the offseason is invaluable. The Gorillas plan to return home to Pittsburgh on Thursday. Their season unofficially begins with an exhibition game at Kansas State on November 3rd. And we're another day closer to high school football practices in the area being played. Kansas schools still need to wait until next Monday. Missouri schools just began yesterday. Next team we'll give you a look at is the Joplin Eagles. They bring back several starters from last year's team, which finished the year 7-3 in the district quarterfinals. Foremost among them, halfback Quinn Renfro, rising senior with 1,500 rushing yards and 24 touchdowns on the ground last season. Joplin also returns its starting quarterback in Hobbs Gooch, who threw for 1,900 yards and 20 touchdowns a year ago. We hope you'll be able to join us tonight at 9 on Fox 14 and at 10 here on KOAM to hear from Eagles head coach Curtis Jasper, along with some of those impact players. That's all for sports. We're back after this.
Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We're going to have the results of several tax questions on the ballot in Southwest Missouri. Plus, have you ever wondered what a day in the life of an ice cream truck driver is like? We're going to show you for a local driver. And why the Endangered Species Act faces an uncertain future. Those stories, a lot more. Of course, it's coming up tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. In the meantime, if you have an opportunity, you might want to get out and enjoy this relatively nice weather.
Yeah, the evening hours are going to be fantastic as we slide back through the 80s into the 70s. Thunderstorms late tonight, on and off tomorrow. High temp, 88.
Yeah, 88 sounds pretty good. We've dealt with enough triple digits for a while. We're going to leave you tonight with another look at that new robotic security edition for Wyandotte, Oklahoma schools. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.